You guys can't even hear me. Can you hear me? Sorry. There we go. How about some volume? So welcome in. My name is Jenny, and I craft and needle felted characters. I do these little monks, and today I am working on this one. Let's give you some backstory here. We're coloring the face. Give me a second. Let me grab my sample. I thought I had everything here. First time streaming using this platform or this setup, so forgive me if everything is not in its place. Okay, so give me 1 second. I'll show you a sample. All right. Okay, so these are what I create. They're these little needle felted guys. Okay, how do I? But they're charms. Here, let's do this. That's better. So this is one I made out of rose quartz, and it's sitting on a cloud, but they all have sayings. This one says, "You are so loved." Um, so I make these, and for Lunar New Year, this one has jade and no quote or no saying, but sometimes I do them on flowers. So this one is dressed as a horse. And this has the Om Mani Padme Hum saying, which is Tibetan Sanskrit for, um, oh gosh, I gotta remember what it means, but it's like, may all living beings be happy and overcome any type of illusion. And so I do these, and they're these little monks. Sometimes I do them with wild, crazy hair. Sometimes they're just in buns. And this one has rose quartz and is on a flower. And it's got the Om Mani Padme Hum saying as well. And we're going to do one like this. That's what I'm working on right now, on a flower, but in the color purple. So we'll be using this, which I've got prepped. And this is rose quartz. And we're going to be using a two-tone lavender purple petals. So I've started working on this, but I figured I'd start sharing my process. And then this one was just something fun. What character is he? He's from like a BTS character. He's holding a sundae, but he's in a flower. And they're cute little charms made of wool. So that's me. That's what we're making. We'll keep these guys with us. Good luck. So this is the start, and this is how it starts. I basically felted a ball, strung a string through it, and now we're coloring it in. This is the fun part. I actually enjoy this part of it because I get to color. So here we are. Now, if you guys are commenting, I apologize because I can't see the comments. Or, let's see. Yeah, it's like I can only see my comments. Weird. That is really bizarre. No bueno. Let's see if I can. Oops. All right. So let's continue. We're going to continue coloring And I started making these originally as emotional support buddies because they really helped me. I also paint, which I figure I'll just start to tell my story and I'll be doing some live streams with that too. But for right now, I am needle felting and I just wanted to hop on and share my process. All right. So let's make this bigger. Yay. There. Happiness. Okay. So, because this is going to be the top, I like to make my characters have like a shape to their face. And it's like, if you guys are familiar with Precious Moments, they have this shape when you look at the profile where it's like the chin, the eyes are kind of recessed a little bit. And it's hard to see right now in this raw process, but I like to give the face just a little bit of shape. And then I also like to make sure that this wool is thoroughly felted because this is where the eyes are going to go. And you'll see that if in the process, there's tons of videos out there, many needle felters that I follow. I really admire their work because they're really good. I mean, these guys, they make these incredible realistic animals. Like they do pets and characters and just whatever you want they can make, and it's amazing. I consider myself this is a process, a learning process for me. I'm constantly learning. Although this is something that I created and these are my designs, I still am always learning about wool and this medium, working with this medium. I've actually been working with this medium for, I'd say, a couple years now, and there's always still something to learn. One of the things about detail work and making characters, especially you'll see what we're about to do, is to make sure this wool is thoroughly felted, meaning it cannot be squishy, because any squishiness, if it's not firm, this will be very it won't take as well. Good morning, Leilani. Hi. Let me see. I am needle felting. Thank you for coming and hanging out. We are making a character today. I'm trying to figure out my setup here and how. Here we go. Hello. We're going to do the eyes now. So this is not squishy, which is what we want, because whenever doing detail work like the eyes on this, if it's at all not firm or squishy, it won't come out as nice. And now I'm using a roving wool, and it's kind of stringy, and I enjoy using this, especially when I do the eyes, because it just shows up the way I want it to. And we're going to do the eyes here. Now, I like to keep this proportional. And so I'll use the string here, which I've tied the knot down here. But I use the string like this to identify where the middle is on this particular one, because it changes with each character. I don't know why. Each of these guys is so unique. no two ever come out the same. I've tried. So here we are. I've got the defined middle, and I'm just going to poke where I want the eyes to be. Poke where I want it. Where I want the bottom, the very bottom. How's your day going, you guys? Anyone doing anything fun today on a Sunday? All right. So now that we've got the eyes, I'm going to go ahead and adjust this so that way it's a little closer and you can see actually what I'm doing. And then maybe I can see the comments a little better. Coffee time. Excellent. All right. That's better, right? Okay. All right. So now we've got this. We've got the eyes. And now we are going to do some detail work. Let's get some light on here. All right. And I am just going to go through and do some sleepy eyes. All of these characters have sleepy eyes, peaceful eyes. Now this is very detailed. This is the detail. Okay, so that's one. And I will just go through and poke out. Basically, I'm outlining where I want the eye to be. And this is often the place where you can see where a part needs to be felted more, if it needs it or not. But this is where you'll definitely begin to see the inconsistencies, if there are any. All right, but you can start to see where this is. All right, let's make that big. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to go through with and basically color it in. Now, I like to move it. I know. Okay, so we've got, I'm going to cut that in half because we have two eyes. And we're just going to line it. This is so satisfying to me. This is the part because it's like, oh, eyes are very magical. If you've ever needle felted, this is definitely one of those parts that's like, wow, satisfying to poke felt into felt. Good morning, welcome in. I am needle felting, making a needle felted phone charm car charm. And right now I am working on the eye. One eye. All right, so we've got one eye in. We're going to go ahead and do the other one. It really does help when you pre-do or like outline the eye first, because then you know exactly where the felt is supposed to go, and the felt actually will go in there. I have tried doing this without stenciling or outlining it first, and it didn't go in the way I wanted it to. Good morning. Welcome in. I'm needle felting a monk this morning, and we are working on the eyes at the moment. Let's see. He's a sleeping, peaceful, meditating monk. Actually, meditating or sleeping. So now we've got the eyes. See, so that went in there a little bit more than I wanted. But the best part about this medium is that you can always add more. That's the best part. I can always add more. It's hard to take away. But see how that's like two different sizes? Well, it's hard to see on camera. Okay. But we're going to go ahead and get in there. I'm using a 38. This is a 38. I'd have to say there's a lot of various sizes of needles out there, but I prefer using I primarily use a 38 triangle and a 40 spiral for finishing. I really don't use many of anything else. I might use like this one, this is a triangle. This is I want to say a 32 triangle, but I use that to kind of work on getting the hole to get the thread through. But like detail work, shaping, 38 triangles where I found my happy needle. And then this is a 40 spiral cone spiral. And I'm sorry, this is a 38 star. This is the 32 triangle, which I love to use for like digging and getting in there, getting into the wool, especially after I felted the balls. All right. So now that I've got it the same or matching, I'm going to go ahead and cut off the excess, and we can always use that for something later. That's the best part about this. I really enjoy that it's got minimal waste. Very, very eco-friendly. Now, backstory of why I started needle felting. Because I do paint, and you will see some of my painting live streams coming soon this year, because, you know, I'm branching out. I want to share my story. But I started needle felting because I wanted something more organic, and just, I had a vision. There's the eyes. Okay, so now we are going to attach. Now I like to position this because they're caressing the ball. I just think there's something so sweet when it's like a little tilted to the side. You know, they're like babies. These are like my babies. I don't put mouths on these because the concept is that they're hidden. But before I even start this step, I need to put the tag. So here comes the tag. So I get these in rolls. It's an entire roll, and they're cloth. And it's just whatever I order them on Amazon. And I love it. I love that I found this because I had a very specific vision of what I wanted these monks to have. I wanted all of them to have a saying that reminds people that, you know, just something like a reminder, because I know sometimes I forget to practice. Good morning and welcome in. So we're attaching this tag, which says Om Mani Padme Hum in Tibetan Sanskrit. And that is the prayer for protection. And I'm going to be attaching it to the base of the neck. So that way it ends up like this. See, that's how these guys get tagged. All right. So I will use some of this. This is carded again. So this is a little different. This wool is carded wool. Carded. And we don't need much. That's why I love this medium. You don't need much. Just need a little bit. And so that's what we're going to take. We're going to take some of this carded wool and we are basically felting it on. And again, I'm using this as my gauge of where's the middle. Play the game of where's the middle. And we want to do it right at the base because we want it to be coming out as a tag. Okay, so we're using this, and I like to use my 38. 38. My 38. And we're just going to felt this in there. We're felting the tag in there. One of the things needle felting has taught me is awareness. Awareness of where my hands are. Because if you don't know where your hands are, you could stab yourself. Now there are finger cuts that I use for very small detail work. But this, I've got enough space here to where I know I'm not going to stab myself. All right, so now we're going to get that tag in there, but I'm making sure not to go over the words. See? See, it takes a little bit. Now I'm going to go through with this thicker, the bigger bad boy. Because I want to make sure this is in there. And the best part about this is that, you know, if it's not exactly straight, that's the magic. That's what makes it so great. I look at this as like it's therapy. So it's all perfect. But see how that's in there now? It's felted. It's all cloth. It's going to be there. It's going to stay there. And it's not exactly straight, but that's fine. That's great. It's still a reminder. It still serves its purpose. Now we can go ahead and attach. We're going to attach this cute little bead. Okay, so I want it to be up because we are caressing and snuggling the jewel. It's not, it's cute. So I like to face it towards me so that way I don't lose positioning. And I will take my big boy here and just stab it deeply. So that way it attaches. Really? Okay. So, and this part, I like to just make sure that I get it positioned in the right spot where I want it. Because, again, we can take it off, but we can get it in there the right way, the right time, the first time. That'd be amazing. Okay, so let's bring you closer here because I really, 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 really want you guys to see this process a little better. Okay. So now let's get him. Yay! That arm's a little loose. There we go. Now the light's a little better. Again, playing with this, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. Want to attach the arms, make sure they're good. And being careful not to stab myself. Oh, we're working with the tiny area. Good morning. Welcome in. We're needle felting this morning. Making a cute little character. Holding a rose quartz stone. Right now we're attaching the arms. All right. Just want to make sure this is really sturdy on there, but as you can see, it's already starting to take shape. He's caressing this love stone. Rose quartz is the stone of unconditional love. And, with the start of the Lunar New Year, it's very important. I am currently on a journey. Self-love is important. I am learning to love myself. I don't ever think that we can ever be completely done learning to love ourselves. All right. So as you can see, it's coming along. But we're going to get more because now we're going to color in the hands. Yeah, because the hands are still that carded wool, the base wool, because I use base wool, but now, yay, I'm going to use this and this. Excuse me. Looks like we need another cup of, that's another sip. I was out last night catching the lion dancing, and it was amazing, but we did yell a lot. Alrighty. So here we are. Again, I'm trying not to stab myself, but I'm trying to identify where that line is, where my color ends and my base wool begins. And again, the beauty of this design is that it's all perfect, no matter what. I try not to get too technical with these because this is supposed to be a fun, creative process. Nothing too technical. When I was in art school, I discovered that there was so many technical concepts that artists back in the day were really mathematicians, scientists. It was more than just being creative. So it was interesting. But with this, I want it to be, yes, we have to adhere to the laws of physics. But it's perfectly imperfect. And I guess one of the beautiful things about designing and creating these monks is that they're perfect no matter how they turn out. And for me, each one has a story, has a feeling, a lesson, an experience, and they're all different. So now I am going through this with the 40 spiral because I'm smooth the wool. I want it to be smooth. I want it to be in there. One of the things about these monks when I started making them is that I wanted them to be durable. I have 2 young kids. They are 7 and 9. At the time I started needle felting, they were 5 and 6. Because they're 18 months apart. So, but I originally started needle felting to make characters and merch for them because they would discover these YouTube characters and they'd be very new, so there wasn't any merch out or like alphabet lore. It was alphabet lore at the time. So I would make like the letter A, but I knew it had to be durable because my kids, they're little kids. They're very rough. And I found that this is a great medium because it is durable and fixable. I actually have I started making these because I was obsessed with phone charms and the concept of just, oh my gosh, here's this dangling thing that can help you find your phone. And so these are very lightweight, and I found they were really, they make really great phone charms. And then coupled with this stone, it's just magic. So here we are in the following year because I discovered bone charms or the magic, the usefulness of bone charms last year in 2025. So now that's the one side, and you can kind of tell or see the difference, maybe. That's colored and that's not, but they've got different colors. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and do the other side. Now I like to start in the middle so I can get that in there because the middle is what you see when you're looking at your monk. It's just the first thing you see. So we want to cover up all that carded wool. Make sure every little bit of this guy has color on it. Now I forgot that I have this pen tool, which this does help speed up the process sometimes. Right now I have this loaded with 40 gauge spirals. So this I mainly use for like finishing. But sometimes with these with this small of a surface, sometimes I just like using the single and it works perfectly. So we are almost, see, and like with this part, I like to use the single because then I'm able to control where the felt is going. There's something so satisfying about stabbing wool. It's very therapeutic. And right now my kids are on their devices, so the sound is primarily coming from my headset, which it filters out the background noise the best. So you hear the narrative a little bit more clear, but play with some times when they're not here and I can actually let you hear the sound of this felting because it is very soothing. And I mean, hey, leave in the comments if you like ASMR. I am happy. That's actually something I wanted to get into, is making some needle felting ASMR videos. Um, if that's something, or if that's content you're interested in, please leave a comment, so that way I can start creating some content that will help, or that, you know, at your request. I'm happy to do that. All right. Ta-da! Now he's got hands. Okay, fun part. Now let's get the hair going. This one, I think I want to have a two-toned. Let's get my face on here. Yay! Okay, so got my bag of wool. Now I get my wool on Amazon, and I recently played with, I just wanted to see what the quality of wool was on Alibaba. It's okay for the price, but they come out in strands like this. See this? This is roving wool, which is, that's what we want. Now, I'm thinking for this one, I want to do wild hair. Yes, I want to do some wild hair for this one. So we're going to take out a little bit more, just because it's going to be crazy wild hair. And the other type, the darker type of wool, is this. Is that the darker? It's so hard to tell sometimes. They're so close in color. Aha, there's the end. It looks like this. Okay, next time probably I won't do the background. Can I remove the background? Here we go. We'll do that. Yay! Yay! All right, more organic. I actually like that way better. So we're gonna pull strands. Ooh, this is the darker. Yes, you can tell it's darker. Yay! All right. So now everything goes back in the bag. I try to keep it nice and neat. Try. All right, so we are going to get started on this hair. One of the things I like to do is I like differentiating. So now, looking at this, I realize I usually do a base for the head. So what I'll do is I will take some and then just felt it on first. Now this darker purple, this one, I got from Michael's, and this is not true wool. This is actually, it's called crafting fluff, and it's very silky. So again, I'm taking, honestly guys, these are 2 cat brushes because it's got that roughness to it. And it actually will card the wool. So it'll make it like this. Now this is crafting fluff and not true wool. So this is synthetic. And it's silky. Even carded or matted like this, it's still very silky and soft. So still, I wouldn't recommend it for beginners. to use if you're new to felting. I would I'd stick with carded. So now we are going to do the base. I do the base, and I like to usually do it in a color that contrasts with what's already on the arms. Just a little bit of detail, so that way, I don't know, I like colors, and I like when they contrast and complement. But right now we're doing the hairline just to establish that. Yes, establishing the hairline. So that way I know where where my face ends and where it begins. And I'm using my double. And the best part about this is you can always add and take away. Well, it's easier to add than take away, if I'm honest. So I like to get this on there pretty quick, but as you can see, it's pretty squirrely stuff, man. Okay, so see, hair's on there. I'm just gonna pull the string through because we don't want to lose this. This is how we. Hey, this is my my son just showed me something so cute. What's that? Oh, cute! Oh, oh, you just showed me this cute character. So now I'm pulling things through, making sure. Oh, you know what? Ah. Listen, my process is my process. Sometimes it's not the perfect one, but you know what? I'm learning. And it's fun. I feel like the minute something's not fun, it's time to move on. It's time to change. But it's time. It's just time to have fun. So now I've got all my fluff. We're just matting it down in there. Doesn't have to be perfect. It can just kind of lay wherever it lays. My daughter used to needle felt with me. She's abandoned me for bigger and better things, like playing. Who told her she could do that? She's 9. Anyway, so now, as you can see, this is such a silky, fluffy. Honestly, I only picked this up because it was like 67 cents, and I thought, you know, it was in the infancy of my felting journey, and I thought I was so cool for getting this bargain deal. And Now I'm just like, I didn't want to waste it. It's so usable, but that, you know, such a learning process because had I not done that, I wouldn't have discovered the hack for carding my own wool. And just knowing how to handle that in and of itself, I think saves so much money because I noticed or I see that carded wool is more expensive, considerably more expensive than roving wool. Now, roving wool is the smoother wool. That's the wool that is used for wet felting, which I haven't gotten into. I want to, and I will one day, but today is not the day. Mm. Last sip of coffee. Okay. Now, as you can see, I've got this untreated area. Now, the way I handle this is kind of like the continuation of the arms. And this plastic that you're seeing, or this uh, tied area, that is what secures the gem or the bead. I actually sew these on using it's clear wire, not wire, it's line. It's like a plastic. The best way I can describe it is like fishing wire. It's meant to hold up to 6 pounds, and it's perfect because I want my stuff to be durable. Like I said, I have little kids. I'm not. I am no. I don't really take care of my stuff as well as I should. I'm very rough when it comes to my stuff. And if this guy is going to live on a phone, you and I both know it needs to be durable. So I like to make my crafts, my products durable, especially if it's going to be used. I like to have the end use in mind, and that's what it's about. So, and maybe as I'm closer to being done with this, I can show you my phone charm. Currently, I have a blue one on a cloud, and it's holding jade. But so now that I've got that pretty much in there, but this wool, I basically felt in a layer of colored wool to color it all in. And I use my big boys here, kind of accelerate the process, but being mindful because there's that knot right there. And if you try to felt in an area that has hard, like that knot for the rope, for this rope or this nylon, it will break your needle. These needles are not, they're not, made for stabbing hard surfaces. So they are made to stab soft wool. So I will gingerly and carefully approach this area because I have broken a lot of needles in this process. So hopefully I can help to educate and make your needle felting experience an educational one and a pleasurable one where you're not breaking your equipment. But as you can see, it's fairly easy. It's taking shape. We're coloring kind of a continuation of the arms here, if you will. One of the things that I've noticed sometimes when I'm felting is that I tend to hold my breath. That stems from not wanting to stab myself. But this is kind of like painting. Like you inhale and then you exhale on the downstroke. So inhale, exhale, and you poke it in there because you know you're not going to get stabbed. But it's important to breathe. You gotta breathe no matter what you're doing. Don't hold your breath. So I know this doesn't look pretty, but at least it's got that covered. We've covered up the thread for the most part. Now keep in mind it's going to be even further covered, but this is where we are so far. Yay, oops. Yay. Now, this is where I haven't decided in my process where to go or how to go. But we are at an hour and I've been sitting for an hour. So I will do this in chunks. I know some people can sit for hours, but I'm not your person. So what we'll do is I will continue this guy at a later time, because we do need to still finish the hair part, but it's time to get up and walk around. But I hope that was at least a little entertaining for you, and we'll do part 2, more to follow. Probably this week. I'm still playing with time and date and when the best time to stream is. So if you're watching this and you have ideas on times or ideas on what you guys would like to see in terms of, felting, but stay tuned for part 2 where we finish him. Okay? All right, you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing day and have fun no matter what you're doing. Okay, see you next time. Bye.